Hey, howdy, Matthew Pizgatti here. Welcome back to the channel. I know we've been talking a lot about the drip garden, drip faucet, and that whole ecosystem, but I did also want to talk about other programs, protocols that look very promising for passive income, and not just the protocols and projects that are extremely high risk, high reward, but there are a number that I think are a little bit safer, whether I'm invested in them or not yet. And I mentioned them in a way earlier video here about which protocols for passive income. I kind of touched on all of them at that time. But this video specifically is about one that we haven't really focused on by itself, which is yield nodes, which you may have heard of previously. And some of the best way to explain what they do is actually just glancing at like this affiliate marketing guideline and just a really quick breakdown, because they're really good about representing correctly that results are not guaranteed. They're very highly dependent on cryptocurrency markets doing well. It's not mining. It's not a trading investment. You're essentially having them set up, it's a server rental type program. They're setting up master nodes. So if you're familiar with strong nodes or Thor or any of those types of services, nodes as a service, that's what's happening here. They're investing in these, they're staking in these small volume coins, and then they're passing on 85% to us and 15% back to the program. Obviously, they're not promising or guaranteeing any results, but they do have an incredibly good track record over the amount of time that they've been around. Now, they have some charts here. Obviously, if you'd thrown in 5,000 and you kept compounding, look at how you would have outpaced all these other investments, like even Bitcoin, which is interesting. Which is a strategy you could have, but of course you'd have to compound the whole time. But what makes them so interesting to me is that there's a number of things. There's a number of things, and you should go read their FAQ. I have a link in the description here if you want to go look at them closer. And I obviously can't recommend what you do with your funds. And full disclosure, I am not invested in them currently. But as soon as I have a free amount of capital for their minimum, I will be putting it into yield nodes, because I think it's going to keep doing well. It has done so far. They have a really good track record. But so they list some of the coins that they're invested in, some of the projects that they have their nodes connected to, that make basically the money that they pass on to you by staking all of these coins. And there's a pretty good list there, and I think there's more than that overall. And then they have their team doxed openly on LinkedIn. You can go check them out. There's some good interviews with the COO, at least, maybe with the CEO, but I think I've seen at least interviews with the COO. So you can go check those out and see if that interests you. But they've been running, I think, around 2 years. Let's see, 2019, September. Somewhere around 2 years, and they project 5 to 15% profit. But looking back through the history, I've not seen lower than about 8 or 7. Most months seem to average about 7-10%. Now, so this is different than the DeFi we're talking about normally, like the drip community, the faucet, or the animal farm. You're expecting in the garden, you're expecting up to 3% a day. You're expecting 1% in the faucet. And so this is over the course of a month that we're looking at 5 to 15%, and they usually average around 9 or 10%, and they've been going for a few years. So it's a little different. I would almost call it a lower risk. Like I think they are. I think they're accurately managing their amount of risk to the reward, so that they don't go overboard, so they aren't overpaying and still keeping their project going and investing properly. But as they say, it's volatile based on cryptocurrency. So if any of those coins or most of those coins have some big hit or something happens, you're saying match funding is not trading, so loss of capital is highly unlikely. Along the way, that's the thing too. Once a month, you get the choice with them, it seems, to either withdraw or compound, and so you could withdraw your benefit or compound it back into the system, and you can also choose what percentage to compound. So if you want to compound 100% back in, or if you just want to withdraw it every month, depending on your strategy and how much you put in. So it is locked for 6 months, but unlike some of these other DeFi projects, your money's not locked. It is locked for a certain time period, kind of like a time stake, but you can get that initial back out. It would just end the node. So if it was at the minimum, you're not going to have enough to run the node, and so you'd have to basically pull it out all the way if you're going to do that, because this minimum amount is what you need to at least get started with the node, which is similar to strong nodes and the others if you're familiar with those. But yeah, so this program looks pretty interesting. This is their full breakdown from 2019-09 when they were starting in development, and then when they actually started operating, it looks like 2020. So yeah, we're at almost at 2 years. Once we hit May, that'll be 2 years for their program. And this main chart here, you can see 12%, 9%, and kind of see what they're averaging along the way, which is pretty impressive so far. And of course, they have some interesting stats there that if you had been in the system for that amount of time, that corresponds to 120% annual return, or 213% if you had been compounding the whole time. And I assume that means the 100% compound option, where you're just compounding every month. And once again, the way that works is once a month you have a certain time frame by which you can change your compound amount or decide if you want to withdraw. So if you are going to be withdrawing, it seems pretty straightforward. You just have to let them know before the certain time period, because there's only one certain point each month when they send those withdrawals out. But if you watch anyone else's videos on this who is invested, you'll see a lot of, I guess, evidence of that, or confirmation that the withdrawals are working. And like I said, this has been going for a while and doing pretty steady, doing a pretty good return. They do have a little little disclaimer. If they do drop a yield below 5% for 3 months in a row, then they'll give back the rental payment and then any accrued profits if you've been compounding. So that's a nice little guarantee there, but they don't guarantee profits overall. That's just if they're really not doing a good job managing those investments, or a lot of them crash and they give such a low yield for 3 months. They'll return that node rental and any of those profits that have accumulated. So that's neat. But yeah, full disclosure on this one, like I mentioned, I'm not invested in it at the moment. I'm just extremely interested in the longevity here, the longevity, how long they've been going, how much they've been returning consistently every month. It's not as high as these other DeFi projects, but to me that tells me they're doing something a little more steady, that may last even longer, which is exciting. More of a traditional investment type of model where you're not getting such a high reward back, but hopefully that means a little less risk. Although I can see by their disclaimers all over the site, they're not promising that. They're making it very clear that they still think it's high risk due to the fluctuations in the coin prices and everything else. But just following my crypto journey here and what I'm investing in, I'm very interested in this project. And as soon as I have that free capital to throw in there, I will be. And then from there, I'll be able to document that return and see how it grows. So stay tuned for that. And so that is yield nodes in a nutshell. A lot of good information on their website, their homepage here, which I'll link, that just really goes over master noding, why it's not mining, and how this whole program works. But I'm looking forward to getting invested into it. So I'm shilling it a little bit. I've been following them for the last month or two and really looking into it. So yeah, that's something I'm interested in. But like I said, I'm not invested in it at the moment. You should go check it out if you have any interest. But obviously, I cannot advise specifically what you do with your funds here, or if you should sign up or not. I don't get paid by them. I don't have any interest, except I will link the affiliate link. Although I don't know that that's really any any boost to me until I'm actually invested and in the program myself. But yeah, this looks like a really cool program. So I wanted to pass that along. If you're already in DeFi, It's something that's similar, like a similar vein, something to look into. That's not these type of games or these type of protocols that we're seeing, which are also unique in their own way, and they're all fun to play around with. I think they're, if you're diversifying, if you're having fun with this stuff. Oh, hey, look, I have a plant ready. Buy one plant. Oh, I do have some DRIP BUSD sitting around. Apparently equal to at least one plant. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, so if you're already kind of looking at other projects and looking to diversify so all your eggs are not in one basket, that's just one I would take a peek at. The other ones I've already mentioned are very similar to this. Strong nodes, Thor nodes, a lot of those I've also been looking into, but I'm not invested in yet. So hopefully I do get a chance to hop into this one and I can track that journey and that progress along the way and let you know how they're doing. If you're interested in that at all, that is the purpose of this channel, is to kind of build my spot in this space and hopefully build and not lose ground. So we're trying to make smart decisions, but they're all high risk plays, which you can kind of afford to do when you're younger versus when you're older and trying to actually retire at that point, unless you have that free capital to still throw around, in which case obviously all your money is your choices. You do what you want with it. Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate the like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content or finding any of this informative or useful. Hope you have a great one wherever you are in the world. Thank you.